Hi guys, I'm Katie.
And I'm Taylor.
And we want to thank you for watching all 10 episodes of Becoming Famous. This was a very long project, but we're super glad that we made it all the way through 10 episodes.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was something we've never really done before by ourselves, so this was kind of our first attempt at making a real show on our own.
So if you can, like all the videos, like everyone's comments, comment yourself, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully you'll see us for season 2 or season 3.
Yeah, absolutely. They're kind of in the plans. We'll see how you guys like it.
This was a passion project. We have created this project using our friends, a lot of favors, and no money.
No money.
No money.
Whatsoever.
Okay, maybe money for snacks. But that's about it.
I know we play best friends in the show, but we're actually best friends in real life, and we met on set doing background work.
It's true. We met in a movie, Ford vs. Ferrari, and we've been friends ever since, so all the stuff that we teach you, especially in the SAG episode, is real, and you should definitely listen to our tips and tricks. Are you ready for the biggest reveal of the season?
Here we go.
Waited so long. Oh. Well, I bet you're wondering why we've covered up our beautiful locks.
Beautiful
locks with these wigs. We live and work in an industry where we have to keep working even if we're doing a passion project, and rent costs money. So we had to take jobs in between about a 2-month period, and our hair changed dramatically.
I had blue hair.
My hair was long. It's not anymore.
No. My hair used to be that hair. Like, my wig was my normal hair. Thanks, LA.
Well, if you could tell us who your favorite character was, your favorite scene, or maybe what you related to the most in the comments, we would greatly appreciate it and take your word in it for season 2 and 3.
Also, if you want to know what our biggest obstacle was, here he is, right there.
Yay! It's Milton! Yeah! He pees all over the floor and he's a puppy and it's so annoying, but I love him.
Yep. I'm allergic to dogs. Thanks, bye.
I'll do. All right.
That was the... Thanks, bye!
Hey, my name is Major W Latimer. I'm the DP of Becoming Famous. You know, so many times I actually type this Beyond Famous, and I don't know why.
That's season 2. Beyond Famous.
So, like, on my calendar, it'd pop up, oh, filming Beyond Famous. And I was like, why, Major? You know this is titled. It's Becoming Famous. Anyway, yes, hi, my name is Major W Latimer. I am the DP for Becoming Famous, and this here is...
I'm Zach Clapperich. I am the writer and director of this show. Also sometimes acted. Also cried behind the scenes a lot.
Yeah, a lot of tears. Tears
Yep.
of happiness and stress.
Not all of them.
And everything.
No.
And introduce yourself, sir. Who are you?
Hello, my name is Jesse Lopez, and I'm the AD.
And
Also
and
AC.
the second unit, and the AC, and the gaffer grip, and the second unit DP.
Yeah, pretty much the entire
Yeah.
Genie crew.
Yeah.
For sure.
Exactly.
And the puppy wrangler.
And
Yeah, 100%.
Not a very
with
good
second
puppy
class
wrangler.
puppy wrangler.
Second class.
He got
second
big, it's
class.
not my fault.
He got bigger.
Yeah, you really lost marks on that one.
So we're here to talk about Becoming Famous and the behind-the-scenes making of kind of experience. So let's get right into it.
One of the things that I found out here is there's a million ideas and a million things that get started, and 99% of them don't get followed through. Things don't start because people get nervous and things seem too difficult and they seem too big. This show seemed too difficult and too big for us to do what we ended up doing. I specifically remember talking to Katie and telling her she was out of her damn mind to think that we could finish this in 3 months. And we did, because Katie is out of her damn mind. As well as Taylor. She's also out of her mind. But they cracked a whip, and they got us to focus, and they pulled people together. And it is something that is very important for people to know that, like, we did this all in favors, and we did this all in a very short amount of time, and we did this with quality that is way above our means, and sheer determination. Lots of sleepless nights and determination.
Yeah, and one of the biggest, I think, most important things to realize is a lot of times it is about finding people you know you can work with and want to work with. So I'd worked with Zach before on a previous project. I loved his writing, I loved his directing, and we knew that we could just kind of click. And so his ability to write and direct, my ability to shoot things, it made it easy for us to just like decide to do it together, right? And be able to like, stand each other for 12 hours?
Yeah, like 16 hours a day, like at least 3 times a week, and then like 8-hour days the other 4. And then we found this goon.
Yeah.
This goober.
That was literally random.
Yeah, we found him at a bar, just hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was at a
I'm
bar.
not gonna lie, I went, Taylor, I don't remember where I met Jesse, but he's gonna be here in an hour.
So good.
But back to the point, it is the trust is very important. You need to find people you trust, people you care about, and people that you know you can stand. That is a good point. Sometimes sets fall apart simply because there's not enough chemistry and people don't enjoy being around each other. It is very important to know who you're working with and know that you're gonna get frustrated. And afterwards, when it's all done, you can have a beer together.
Your dog just peed on his pillow. I'm sorry. Okay.
But that it is important. It's important to do that. And it's a good point that Major brings up that if you're working together and you're trying to take on a project this big, like make sure you know who you're getting into it with. That is a very, very important aspect of anything, especially production-wise, because you spend a lot of hours together.
Yes, and you want to be able to still like that person and spend time with them.
That's true too.
You
You
don't
don't want to burn the bridge via project.
Yeah, so you definitely want to enjoy their company on set, and you want to be able to trust them. And a big thing is we did have that trust already built in from working on previous projects. Again, continuing that conversation about trust, he did come in. Jesse came in as my second unit and did a lot of cinematography work on days I couldn't do it. And once I met him and saw his work ethic and his ability to pick things up, I let him basically use my gear, which I don't do that often. I care a lot about my cameras and my lenses and my lights, and I am always worried in the back of my mind that someone's going to break them and then their life is going to be ended. So I didn't. Maybe I just put so much fear in you.
Yeah,
you were like,
I was terrified.
No, but
First day. No.
You were super awkward with the cameras the first day.
It was the first
You were
day. I was
super
just like,
awkward.
I can't do it. Like I'm gonna destroy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how'd that work? Like, how was your experience with that?
Being thrown into it, just go.
Yeah,
I mean, because I did have a little bit of experience behind the scenes and stuff of other projects, but this is definitely on a much larger scale and better quality than just about anything I've ever worked on, which was awesome for the fact that, again, it is exactly built on favors and everyone is just there pursuing their
A
dream.
bunch of people trying to get famous.
Exactly, yeah, literally,
A bunch of people
exactly.
trying to become
Speak
famous.
for yourself, I'm already famous.
On TikTok.
It
And-
counts.
And
And it was
count
just
now.
cool, seeing everyone put their all into this,
Yeah.
which just made me want to do that. Also, it's just
Yeah, true
that's
story.
why I came out here
Yeah.
to find other creatives and work with other creatives and do projects. And this is exactly everyone that was on board with this was exactly that means.
And I think if you are again trying to do this, trying to pull favors and figure out how to get your project done, it is important that you make sure that everyone on set kind of knows the caliber you're working with, and it brings everybody up. Everyone expects a certain standard, and overall you end with a better product because everyone comes in being all right, this is where we know nothing below this. And so the actors came, knowing their lines. If not knowing their lines, being able to pick up the dialogue very quickly, make changes, and improv well, and just become the character they need to become. So then, when I press the record button, we're not sitting there hemming and hawing for burning through footage. And I respect the crap out of that when someone can come and be professional, be quality, and I think you feed off each other. So if you see that person bringing their all. Bringing their air game, you do the exact same. You do it in kind.
And sort of bouncing off that, one thing that I can say, especially after this project, that is very important if you're trying to do something big and do something that you haven't done before, is understand that you have to be flexible.
True story. Yep.
In the same vein of like knowing, like expecting people to show up and be there no matter what's happening, and no matter if we change scenes around or do different things. There was literally a day where I was writing the episode, like writing scenes for the next setup we had to do that day, and it was incredibly stressful, and it took a huge amount of flexibility. I dropped like a 4-page straight monologue on Katie and Taylor at one point, and was like, "Hey, we're shooting in 20 minutes," and they nailed it.
Yeah.
And flexibility is very important. If you're doing this off the ground, you don't have the money to pay people to show up, and you're relying on them to show up. You have to know that sometimes things are gonna take precedence. Like some people are going to get booked, and some people are going to get sick, or have a birthday to go to, or be hungover, and you're gonna miss people.
Yeah.
And when that happens, you can't get mad. You have to know that this is Hollywood, and it is very hard to round up people and take advantage of every little bit you get and do the best you can with it.
Yeah, there was some great times. Like shout out to Taylor, who had to do a lot of our scheduling.
That poor girl.
Yeah,
Poor
girl.
Just
producer extraordinaire, because she's working with sometimes like 10 different schedules and timelines, and saying like, oh, we're gonna bring this person in at 8 o'clock, and they're from 8 to 10, and then from 10 to 1 we have this person, and then so on and so forth. And she has to schedule out that whole 10 to 12 hour day with all these people, and they have their own jobs and things they need to do, and make sure that like they know that, hey, I respect your time, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna use you, I'm gonna make sure you get your scene, and then you're gonna get out of here. And respecting someone's time, respecting that they are a lot of times in this case volunteering, but then making sure that like, hey, I'm gonna make sure to use you well, and then get you out of here. I'm not gonna monopolize it, and that's important. And she did a bang up job, because we had a total, I think, of 16 days, and
30 separate actors.
How many?
30.
30 actors.
way more than 16 days of shooting. There was 16 days last month.
There was 18 total. I'll figure it out.
There was way more. There was 18 just last month.
Was it really?
No.
Just last month.
I think there was 16.
We
we
filmed
did more
3
than
times
18
the
days.
first week, 3 times the
It's
second
16
week, none the
total. I think
third
it's
week,
16
and 4
total.
the last week.
It's 16 or 17 days. Anyway, listen, it's a lot of days, guys. It's a lot of days.
It's a lot of time. We don't sleep.
But with that being said, if you know going into it what your timeline is, and I think that actually helped us, because we did have a timeline. Everything had to be done by a certain period of time, so it did put a fire under everyone's butt to say, these are the weekends we're available, these are the weekdays, these are the weeknights. There were times Jesse was like, hey, I can do this, but I have a day job, so I can only come in after 7 o'clock. There were times where I had to leave. I could do the shoot in the morning, and then he had to pick up and do the shoot in the afternoon. Or I'd be leaving one gig, sometimes exhausted, and then come in and shoot for 5 hours here. But knowing what your timeline is, and knowing that, hey, I'm just going to get it done, it's important. So schedule accordingly. Be really upfront. Like when I got on the project, it was just like, hey, this is what we're looking for, this is what we want to do. We had great conversations about what we wanted it to look like, and sound like, and feel, and what the vibe we were going for. So it helped us on set to be able to just shoot quickly, and never lose sight of like the end goal.
Okay, what did you enjoy most about becoming famous?
It sounds cliche, but it's very true. I love working with great people, smart people who are, again, have great work ethic, but also amazing talent. And as people will know, like, there are characters I fell in love with, and like you fall in love with like the character, but also the actor portraying that person. And yeah, that was one of the best things, is meeting great new actors and great new people, Jesse, that you look forward to working with in the future.
So, I mean, just the entire experience, just coming on, not knowing anything, because I've barely met anyone here, to be perfectly honest, and I was just like, I got some production, whatever, and so I jumped on not knowing anything, not knowing how it was going to turn out or anything like that, and being absolutely amazed the second I walked in, seeing everyone's skill just up in the air, like the potential for this entire show, and for everyone working on it, and just being like, this is beyond like my personal standard, and like I want to be on this, like I want to put my all, or whatever, and
Stamp
just,
your name on it and be like,
yeah,
yes.
exactly, and just seeing
Mom, look
that
what I did.
everyone was at that park.
And it's it's like a bar.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
It's easy for me. My favorite thing about this show is that I wrote a fucking show and a bunch of people did it.
And liked it.
Yeah. It's really incredible. My favorite part for me, it's a very personal thing, like from a writing standpoint, is it's very easy to write poorly by sort of not making characters interesting. You can accidentally become every character. I've fallen into this trap a million times of like writing a whole show or writing a movie and realizing that like everyone kind of acts and feels like me, because it's very hard to dip out of that ego. But I wrote this, luckily knowing a lot of the people that I was writing about, because they're all based on real people I know. So it was very easy to create real characters that felt unique and original, and a lot of the actors that were working on this were very excited to become that character. And by the end of it, I don't think there's a single person that would get mad if we called Mark Tim, or if we called Nathan Kurt.
Yeah.
Because everyone was like, no, like I feel like that.
Yeah.
And that's like, to me, that was the greatest thing in the world, is when Kurt would come over and he's like, no, like I feel like extra Kurt today. Like it's exciting. The point being that's
Dingus?
to me the greatest thing in the world is seeing a bunch of people read my characters and become my characters and feel like they are and want to be them.
Yeah. I read the script. I mean, every script I read before we shot, and I remember getting on set and seeing, Chase Kelly play her role for the first time and be like, oh, this is perfect. Because basically it became funnier seeing it performed than it was on paper. Like, it was already funny, and then you see someone perform it and you're like, oh, that's hilarious.
And
like,
all the actors
amazing.
embraced it so much that, specifically Nathan, for example, actually Chase, for example, Chase was Kelly in this, and Kelly was originally a side character that had like minor comic relief, and it was kind of silly. And Chase walked in and nailed it. She was so funny that we went back through and made sure that her character had like a full like arc and just a bunch more development, because she became so much more than she originally was, which was so fucking cool. And you'll see in the show, or you have seen in the show, that like all these people, they feel so comfortable in their roles. Like everybody felt like the character, and you'd never see anybody break character because they liked being that person.
Yeah. The relationships feel very real on screen, but also in the room.
Yeah,
which
for
is
sure.
great. So like the chemistry between Taylor and Katie is fantastic, but not just on screen, like in kind of the real life of it.
Yeah.
And that was with even all the co-starring characters.
Yeah.
From a production standpoint, how did you make Becoming Famous happen?
All right, so let's get techie about it. I shot the first half of the series on a Nikon D70-100, and then the second half on a D70-500. I used all Nikon glass. We wanted to keep the lighting very simple because we were moving so quick.
Except for that haunted 35.
Oh,
the cursed 35 millimeter.
We don't use the 35 millimeter anymore.
Look at Katie's face. She doesn't know what we're
It's
talking
dead.
about.
I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
35 millimeter lens is dead to us.
Yeah.
Every other lens was great. Primarily, I shot with a 24 millimeter, a 50 millimeter, and an 85 millimeter. And then some of our super wide shots, I used a 14 millimeter. That's the only lens that's not an actual Nikon lens. It's a Rokinon for all of you techies out there. Yeah. Anyway, we also, back to the lighting. Lighting, we used pretty much a very simple lighting setup. I have a Chinese lantern, and I used a 200 or 250 watt bulb in there, incandescent, and I basically just moved that around. So like, I'd be like, Jesse, put it over there.
Yeah, and just like a general hardware store dimmer.
Basically.
Saved our ass. So besides all the tech specs, the key point here is we kept things as completely minimal as possible.
Yeah, minimalistic.
Me and Major spoke before we even started the project, and I told him like the scope we were trying to meet, and both of us agreed that we were going to like downplay heavy like production tricks and like super heavy lighting, and we were gonna keep things as skeleton as possible. So we did, like you said, like China ball only, simple lenses, simple shots. While we made as much dynamic movement as we could, it was a lot of static shooting.
Yeah.
But we did it. We tried to make it clean and pretty.
Yeah.
So that was the sort of trade-off we had, is like while we weren't going to be able to do anything super fancy, we kept everything as high quality as possible. Made sure we made everything look as pretty as it could. and it worked out really well.
Yeah, most of the stuff again was on sticks. Sometimes I handheld and did a shoulder rig. We have a few shots in there where I got dynamic and fun with it because we have what we call a cell phone cam. So whenever someone's using their cell phone, the camera kind of is behind that, and so we use that as like our social media camera shot. Yeah. That was artistic and fun. But usually, you get your coverage. So we do our wides, we do our 2 shots, we do over the shoulders or singles, and we just basically that was our shot list every day. But it made sure that we made our day, got all the shots we needed. And it also makes it easier again for lighting because when you're lighting
consistent.
Yeah, super consistent.
Yes.
And I apologize in advance if sometimes you can tell that it's the dark outside through these stupid fucking blinds in my house. That was one of the biggest pitfalls you'll find is if you're doing things low budget, make sure you have a bunch of blackout curtains.
Yep.
Or you have some kind of crazy outside light source because one of the hardest things you can possibly do is mimic night or day if you don't have the proper tools. So one, get your timing right, get your fucking scheduling right, and buy some blackout curtains because it is very hard.
Also, keeping it simple meant that when I wasn't shooting, I could pass things off to Jesse. So how was it for you to pick up what the lighting was and the shooting style?
Super easy because, like you said, we used minimal stuff, which was awesome. And I even incorporated that for my own personal stuff. I went out and bought a China lantern. I went out and bought like a simple boom mic. And
actually, could you also go into sound as well? Explain the simple sound movement we did. And
the simple sound. We really just put it on a tripod
Zero labs.
Yeah, and boom mic is everything. I personally don't like labs at all. I find they rustle too much and everything, but that's my personal. So I'm glad that we used boom mic. But yeah, we just had it on a stand that just went over everything. That was basically on its own light stand, in essence. And
because we often didn't have a boom operator. It was really just us 3 most days.
Yeah. So here is your camera and sound team.
But you can just sound is one of those things that make sure you have a proper windshield if you're outside.
Yes. Or a Katie.
Or a Katie.
We did have a human being as a windshield several times.
Yeah.
But besides that, sound can be simple. The biggest thing, and which we're gonna have to deal with in editing, is keeping your sound consistent.
Yes.
And if you don't have a bunch of really nice equipment, it is better to just throw everything on a boom and collect universal sound rather than trying to lav up some things and match that with other things. Me and Major have both done another project where our sound is generally fucked because we tried to do so much different things on lav and so many things on boom, and it gets mixed up and it gets hard. So keeping things simple will help you there.
And for those out there being oh, well, how can you create a dynamic shot with just sticks? Well, we did that by basically creating movement within the scene. One of my favorite scenes is when Taylor is talking with Kurt at the tree. And we basically locked the camera off, but we had them moving in and out around the tree, and that created such a dynamic scene, even though all the shots are locked off for the most part. So there are ways to do it. You just have to kind of think outside the box and get artistic.
Yeah, absolutely. Rely on your actors and rely on people to make things interesting. Don't rely on your cameras as much as you need to. If you're doing this for cheap, just try to be fun. Think about it like they had to do 60 years ago in cinematography. It wasn't as crazy back then. You had to be creative and have people make movements and have your create interesting situations in your scenes for people to be sort of fall into and forget that you're on sticks.
Also, good writing. Find a good script. Write a good script.
All right, getting into some fun, interesting stuff about becoming famous. What were some mishaps that happened on set and BTS and production-wise, and how would you avoid them in the future?
We filmed an entire scene, and I had the mic off.
We did. We filmed for almost 2 full
Oh,
hours
yeah,
with
2
no mic.
So make sure, for the next time, make a mental checklist or an actual one, and just make sure everything's on and set up properly. Even when you're doing on-the-go guerrilla shooting or whatever, just make sure at least you're checking the basics and put your headphones on.
Yes. Piggybacking off of that, I would say make a checklist with all the equipment you are supposed to bring. Because twice, I forgot something at the house. One time, it was an XLR cable.
6 in the morning.
At 6 in the morning, and I had to rush back and get that. And then another time, it was my actual Chinese lantern. I forgot at the house. Luckily, we had another one here.
Yeah, and we rigged it together with a clothes hanger.
So make a checklist, check it twice, and then just make sure you have everything. Because you don't want to be on set and be like, oh, there's that thing I need that's not here. Yeah, so yeah, do that.
For all you writers, when you're writing a low budget production, stop writing new locations. We realized after I had written about 5 episodes, Taylor was like, all right, cool, so how are we going to get 3 different bars, Zach? Whew, that was rough. So we have like 1 bar. And then a bunch of fake places. Because I'm dumb and I wrote 35 fucking characters and a bunch of locations. And that was one of the hardest things to get through. It took a lot of Hollywood to make it all work right.
There's a great moment where you can think to yourself, like, can this conversation happen on the couch again?
There was more than a handful of times where it was like, all right, cool. So yeah, should we be in that building or can we just absolutely take this home?
Right.
Like, let's just rewrite the scene at home.
And oftentimes, I mean, if you really think about it, if you watch your favorite sitcom or movie for inspiration, really look at how many times they move. You don't really need to make it more complicated than it is. Sometimes you can just shoot in a living room or a kitchen and it's fine.
Yep.
Again,
not everybody's got Marvel money.
as long as you have a good story, find yourself a good writer.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah.
And rely on good people. We luckily the people shouldn't care that much about about the locations of production because you can fall in love with all the characters. They really made the show amazing.
Oh. Saying that. Have a great location, yes, or a simple location, but set design, folks. Sometimes it's great to actually have the place look like it's lived in, and it has texture and feeling and look, and so
He's
do
complimenting
that.
you.
Do that. So if you're gonna have a location, it's gonna be simple. Make sure that the actual space is. That's one thing that we actually had. One of my favorite scenes.
My fucking house has been a set for 3 months.
But there was definitely a space where you felt like, oh, these girls live here, and this is there for and we made a coffee shop.
Yeah.
The coffee shop has great design to it, and they have things hanging on the wall. It feels like a coffee shop. So the set design element really adds to the feeling of the space. So if you have a simple space and you're reusing it, that's fine. Just make it look good.
Also, going off that, take pictures of your sets
For pickups.
Yeah.
for pickups,
Yes.
for continuity.
Yes.
Just in general,
That's-
it will save your life.
Yep.
Yeah, having a high-end
100%.
production, you will always have an art department that really makes sure that everything's perfect.
Yep.
But if you don't have an art department, it's very easy to overlook how important art department is.
We have art department. She's just also a lead.
Okay, so we didn't have an art department. We had me and Katie who did our best to do it all. But however, it's very easy to forget to take continuity photos. It's very easy to forget what exact time you did things, what exact angles you did things from. If you don't have a script and you don't have art department, then you better pay the fuck attention, take some photos, write some notes. We had some trouble with that. Luckily, Katie's obsessed with BTS, so we got pretty lucky.
Because the show is such a large show, and for you out there, it takes a long time. And we're not filming episode by episode. We're filming, 5 episodes in one room.
Yeah.
Or whatnot,
In one day,
Just
yeah.
like all the scenes that take place that span out. And so sometimes we'll come back to a certain area of a certain episode and realize, was the blinds open or closed?
Yeah.
How was the table actually set up? Because
So don't talk shit about our continuity. We tried.
Yeah, we tried. We tried our hardest. It's probably
I
not
don't think it's gonna be that bad. I mean, it's not like
bad.
we had an actor who goes from having blue hair to having blonde hair. Because that's also a big
Wow.
right?
There may be one time
Well,
where I lose
there
some
might be
facial
some.
hair a couple times. Mid-scene, I might lose a little facial hair. That might be due to the mic problem. But yeah, don't judge. We try.
I mean, they're gonna judge.
What's next, baby?
Who's your favorite character and why?
Belle, just because her attitude on camera was just above and beyond.
She's a fan.
Yeah.
She's Belle and beyond.
Basically, like the Christmas episode when Garrett shows up and her entire reaction, which was also I think the first day we shot.
Yeah, it's the first day of shooting.
Or whatnot, and that was like the scene that I was like, this is just above.
Do you have a hair tie?
Do you guys have a hair tie?
And that also goes to Zach over here because he wrote that, and that was just ingenious writing. And that's why I think that's my favorite character.
That's high praise.
That is
Yeah.
That was really a compliment for you, Zach.
I know. I was like, damn. It was good.
Take compliments.
Okay.
Yeah. I am up. Okay. Everyone knows my favorite character is Chasing Kelly.
Yes.
I call her Chasing Kelly because her character's name is Chase.
Character's name is Kelly. Her name is Chase.
Her name is Chase and her character's name is Kelly?
Yes.
There we go. Anyway, it's an inside joke.
It was up in the air the entire time.
Yeah. Anyway, I call her Chasing Kelly, but I do love that character a lot. I love her loopiness, but also how smart she is. And one of my favorite lines, I think, this is definitely was our last day, and she goes, Kurt says, "Wait, did you just say you lost a car? How'd you get here?" And she goes, "I said I lost a car. I didn't say I lost my car." And it's just like so matter of fact. But there's many moments like that throughout the series where she just drops like gems.
You want to know a secret?
What?
Kitty hated the car.
I hated that car line.
The carpet was so stupid.
I didn't honestly get it until Chase actually said the line. I'm like, that's funny.
Yeah, it's so good.
Katie was
so
like,
good.
"You should take that out of it."
It's so
like,
good.
it will sell. I'm
And
trusting
she,
Chase.
and she sold it. But there's a lot of moments like that.
There's a
she
moment
sold.
where she just shakes a present and says
Oh,
nothing.
yes, there's nothing.
And it is
I
so
forgot what's
fucking
inside.
funny.
I had
Just
to,
watching her shake
I had to
up.
look away from the camera. I had the camera on sticks, and she starts doing it, and I had to look away, and just because it's so funny. So I'm in love with Chasing Kelly. That's the moral of the story.
She's taken.
That's fair.
I know.
I just want to put that out there.
I know.
I told him, Kelly. I mean, Chase.
My favorite has got to be Kurt or Nathan in real life, the crazy cat lady. So if you've watched it, you've sort of seen the gag of him, the Earth Spirit episode.
So good.
That's the whole Earth Spirit thing started as a joke. Like we just sort of made this joke, and it became like a running gag that we kept moving through. And it's so funny watching him become Kurt and feel so uncomfortable and be so weird and just border this line of maybe he is a fucking weird elemental spirit. It's kind of up in the air right now.
Yeah.
But watching him super stoned stare at a kid and say, "I've got dragon friends. You got a problem with them?"
That's another.
I was dead. Fucking dead.
Couldn't look at the camera. I got friends who are dragon people.
Yeah, I have friends who are dragon people. You got a problem with them?
But he said it so earnestly. Like
Nathan came in and made that character his own. The Kurt character was originally planned, but the Kurt character wasn't planned to be as big as it was at all. I literally rewrote episode 1 through 4. Originally were much shorter, and we rewrote the whole thing pretty much entirely with added Kurt stuff.
Too good.
It was amazing. That's my favorite character for sure. It was really funny.
So
It went from poof to flat.
I don't care. I don't care.
we even made a
I
point.
will wick it.
Or you guys made a point to make sure that Kurt and Kelly's character were in a scene together.
We did.
Actually.
So they were not. Kurt and Kelly had no scenes together because they were originally intended to be such side characters, and then eventually became very important characters. We had kind of missed out an opportunity to put them together, and so we specifically had a scene written. The last episode, one of the episodes I wrote like on the fly while we were shooting, and it was just, as you've seen, it's them two together, and it's the first time they interact, and neither of them really know how to deal with each other, and they both. It was gold watching those two actors come together and it was our last day of shooting.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? It was our last day of
Yeah,
shooting,
sure.
and it was hysterical.
Yeah.
Seeing them react because they actually hadn't seen each other
Yeah.
and they hadn't acted with each other hardly ever. It was perfect. It was so fun. They're so good.
What was one of your favorite scenes from this season of Becoming Famous?
I'll start. Favorite scene was when Kurt is trying to calm Taylor down and talking to her around the tree. Again, dynamic shot because of their movement. It's a very sweet scene between the two of them. The line about him getting bamboozled by the little
the little Honduran kid.
Honduran kid. He
was like,
can't play something.
He made me look a damn fool.
I apparently can't play that game. He made me look a damn fool. And
I bet a game of soccer on it. Turns out I don't know how to play that game.
But yeah, I love that scene. I love like we walked to the park and I was like tree. Like we already get shooting near the tree, but
First of all, I chose the tree.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying we already knew we were gonna use the tree, but
We all
like
talked about
the talking about how we used it was great. Like we knew we were going to use the tree, but we used it as its own set piece, and it gave a chance for Kurt to run around and jump.
Milton, what are you doofing?
And yeah, that's my favorite scene.
Hey,
I think
come on,
next
let's
to
go.
that was also the scene with the not the psychic, the rock lady.
Oh, the Crystal Queen.
Yeah,
Crystal
Luna.
Queen, the Crystal Queen.
Oh yeah, we did the that 70s show
Luna.
style. We
Yes.
just punches in as a circle around a table. It's
Yeah.
really fun.
It's hard because it was like, I think my favorite moment of being was the fight scene actually.
Oh, that was so heavy.
Because it was so heavy and it felt so real, and all of us that were
In the room.
in the room like felt it, and it was
The dogs felt it. They
yeah,
attacked
it was,
each other.
It was not fun to say, but because it felt so real and stuff, like it was just, it made it seem like, I don't know how to put it.
There was a
put
lot
it
of
in
weight. There was a
There was
lot.
a lot of weight. And
Yeah, the room was very it was intense. You could feel it. It was a palpable sense of like trauma going on, and like you heard Katie say, like it was to the point where like our dogs in the house were getting upset and like starting fights because like everything was so uncomfortable, and that goes to show how powerful Katie and Taylor were on camera. They did great.
Yeah.
It was a really well
So,
done scene.
and then in the same aspect, my favorite thing that I shot though, was them watching All in the Room,
That looks
watching-
so good.
watching the projector, and just because like the feel of it was very like friends, family
It felt like a movie night.
vibe, and yeah, it was
Yeah.
exactly, it was a movie night, and
You
it,
shot that perfect. Like the picture of that is my favorite like photo of the main cast of the entire thing. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing of like everybody together. That's my favorite like single shot. Just the photo. We all know the best scene of the whole show is gonna be that tree scene.
No.
We all know it. You just said it first. Actually, my favorite, what I probably laughed the most was Katie's chicken wing scene.
Oh god, so
I
disgusting.
loved
So
the
funny,
chicken
but
wing scene.
so disgusting.
I also loved watching the chicken wing scene because behind watching it, I was seeing Major like physically convulsing as he had earphones in on the mic, listening to Katie disgustingly eat chicken wings to scare away a grimy Frenchman, and watching Katie not give a fuck, watching our Frenchman be grossed out and Major be more grossed out. It was the funniest thing. I
almost
loved it
threw up.
so much.
I almost threw up.
You're
It
so
was-
welcome.
And we had a surprise guest. A bartender friend of mine came on and did fantastic
great.
as an actor.
He was great.
He did so good and just nailed his role.
Yeah.
It was fabulous. That was my favorite scene, probably like to actually work on.
Yeah.
The prettiest will go between like I think the family night like is the best like still shot we have of the whole thing. The prettiest scene in whole is gonna be the tree scene without a doubt. And then maybe the
fucking Padawan
Thor
becoming the Jedi over
acting
here.
gross. He was great.
Who's
And-
Thor?
Jeremy, the grimy businessman who tries to pick up Taylor. That scene was really funny, and then she tosses his phone, and I got a great enjoyment out of that. Yeah, those are my favorites.
A lot of great scenes. A lot of great little, what do you call it, guest starring spots where people they come
Featured.
in, they just be great
Yeah.
in their scene and really like define the scene.
Yeah.
And then, go about their day.
That is,
It's
we
great.
had some great one-off actors.
Yeah,
like
great cameos,
wildly
right?
so.
Yeah.
Like,
Who's your favorite one-off actor?
yours is watching this?
Your friend, yeah. What was with the, I know whose card it is. Like, just like,
Oh yeah.
it's the Black Middle one, and he's like,
Yeah, and
I know whose card it is.
that was the best line. He's like, yeah, I know what card it is. And the smug eye roll. Oh, brilliant. I actually give a shout out to Mariah downstairs.
Holy
Oh, Madeline.
yeah!
Crushed
Yeah,
it last
that was
night.
awesome.
She looked so natural talking to Katie. It helps that her and Katie were friends beforehand. Very good friends beforehand.
But what's so great about that though, too was again,
IMDb guys.
there's it's one simple scene, and you've got a character who we may or may not see again, but
She's definitely getting
Oh,
rid
she's
of
definitely coming back.
You know what I mean? You don't know
She
that.
earned that next season.
But you don't know that as as a viewer.
For sure.
But you connected with them immediately.
100%.
Right.
She seemed very genuine from the moment you see her.
And their relationship did, and then the moment of just kind of sometimes you just need to talk to someone, and someone's there for you, and she came across with all that energy.
Yeah. And it was because it didn't seem cheesy. I think
It didn't seem cheesy at
when
all.
I was nervous about the line where I'm an actor, and Kitty's like, oh no, I didn't know that. You didn't ask.
Yeah.
It's a hard line to deliver well because you're both shaming and still trying to support someone.
Be nice.
Yeah.
And it's
Being honest,
it's very hard to act that out because you're acting out several different emotions at once.
Mm-hmm.
And Mariah fucking nailed it instantly. And it felt very real, and it gives a very real sense to the character because it's not just a random girl that's simply put there as a deus machina to fix the problem. She's a real girl. It's no, this girl looks sad. I'm gonna help her. She kind of sounds like a bitch right now, but I can tell she means well. And it felt real. It's a conversation I could see happening in real life. And so shout out to her. She's probably my favorite one-off, just because she picked it up so quickly and so well.
I will tell you one thing. That scene was so genuine. It's one of those things I wish that happened in real life. It felt so genuine to be oh no, this should happen. This should be a thing that just happens.
And
and I wish it happened to me more often. Let's
that's not to toot a horn here. But if for anyone who's writing, one of the best things you can do when you're trying to write is speak. Point being, writing real dialogue that people actually say. It's huge, and the only way to really do that is to listen to people.
Yeah.
If you write for yourself, if you do what Aaron Sorkin does, you can. If you're brilliant, you're brilliant. He writes brilliant dialogue, but he writes his voice in every character, and it's Sorkin writing. You can always hear it.
Sorkinism.
And that's fine if that's what you're doing. But if you want to write about people, just listen to people. I focus really hard on hearing things Katie says and how we interact with each other, and I write very specifically to have them say things. And for the directors out there, when you are directing, be more flexible. One of the worst things is having a piece of shit asshole director who gets so pissed because we don't enunciate exactly the way he wants, or you don't he has his own colloquialisms that he needs to be heard when other people don't say them. You can see
say
someone
this way, do it exactly
if someone's
this way.
face doesn't look like it should be saying what they say, they don't need to fucking say it.
Yeah.
Let people speak the way they speak.
Totally.
And so we actually did a lot of there's many times where the girls or anybody on set would ask me can I rearrange how this is written, said. And absolutely. If things feel more natural, they will look more natural on screen, and they will seem more real. So be flexible. Again, it's huge.
If you could make one T-shirt with one saying from this show and rep it, what would it be?
One T-shirt.
One T-shirt.
One T-shirt to rule the ball. 9 T-shirts to the
One.
Human Kings.
That's so hard.
7 T-shirts to the Dwarven Kings in their halls of
Will you
stone.
stop it?
I would say
3 to the Elven Kings.
Shut the fuck up.
So okay, there's just too many, but I would say even though it would make no sense to anyone and it had to sing the show, it would probably be I've got friends who are dragon people.
That was gonna be mine. That was for sure gonna be mine.
Just
no,
I
you
have
know-
friends who
That's my favorite line of the whole
I
show.
have friends who are dragon people is probably just a great line. And
Yeah.
I
You gotta add the. You got a problem with that?
Yeah. I got a problem with them?
I don't know.
I
Yeah.
have friends that are dragon
Like,
people.
you
You
got
got
a
a problem with that?
Yeah. That's something.
That's the whole thing. Oh, you just can't count.
Oh no, you just have a problem. You're just bad with numbers.
Oh, you're just bad with
No,
numbers.
you're just bad with numbers.
I would get a shirt that just has like all of our faces on it and just says, "Damn it, Milton!" That would be my first shirt.
That's not in the show.
Okay, I know, I'm kidding, but that is honestly that was said more than anything else the entire time. Jesse, do you have one?
Yes. What Taylor's line before she cuts the couch?
That?
Yeah.
What?
They gave me a fucking sword.
No, yeah.
Wait,
they gave me a fucking sword, and then the scream.
Justify crime.
As if I
Justify crime.
Oh god.
That would be
some good
funny.
ones.
Having Taylor with like a
oh.
sword above her. They gave me a fucking sword.
Yeah, Drew. Internet dicks.
Oh my god. Internet dicks. What am I thinking?
Internet dicks is stuff.
Yeah. And just with Taylor standing there, just like
Drew.
internet dicks. Oh my god. It's so good.
Yeah. Again, no one would get it, but I'd be giggling on the inside every time they read the shirt, and they were like, "Internet dicks."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Drew.
Internet dicks. That's that internet dicks and Taylor Milton would probably be mine. Or you get like an inspirational one. There's some inspirational lines on there. I could put like a bald eagle, like a star in that sky.
There's definitely what's great about it is that, like, I think there's also quotes that when like people are trying to help their friends out, there's great moments where they're just like great lines, right? They're great, like they're things that they're memes, right? You can see
for sure.
You can see it with like a pretty landscape.
That's what I was
and
saying.
a rainbow,
Yeah, like a silly like inspirational poster. Oh, and Kurt's face just being like, "You don't get mad at her for the rain."
Yeah,
Like,
or Chasing Kelly's line about you guys were just gonna fight. You just needed to have a fight.
Yeah, or you weren't fighting about a boy. You were just having a.
You
were
just
fighting.
yeah, exactly. Because that's true. Like you just needed to have a fight. You needed to like cleanse
Us creators
palate.
need to stick together.
Huh?
Us
Us
creators.
creators.
Us kids,
Stick
yeah.
together.
Stick together.
Her whole last monologue was great.
Also,
When
she was here in we did it in an hour. We did 2
she
scenes in
fucking
an
nailed
hour.
That was.
But yeah, Internet Dicks is the funniest one for me. But I have friends who are dragon people. It's so good.
Yeah.
That I thought that would be a throwaway line, and he dropped it. So
well. So
How high are you?
well.
yes,
Yes. Kurt is the man though.
he's so good.
Nathan
Actually,
is the man. The way
No, I take that back. I know which line for sure. Okay.
Oh, do you wanna land my laser sword? Okay.
Yeah. And then later, Taylor went out and was like, Rocky Road, okay.
That happened like a few times throughout it.
Yeah.
I want Kurt's monologue about LARPing and having the kingdom that he can't go back to on a t-shirt.
What's what's the I'm not a ghost?
I'm not a ghost. I'm a man. I'm not a ghost. I'm
Stop
a
telling my friends that I'm an earthbender, you hot pay person.
You hot fey person.
Listen here, you
Okay,
drow.
that was one of my favorite scenes.
That was
Funny behind the scenes fact. In said scene, we had our Luna character sort of written as if she didn't really know why he was screaming drow and you fey person and dropping all these like D&D fantasy terms. But Nathan in real life had no fucking idea what I was talking about. So I wrote the scene and he's like a drow.
He just leaned into it.
Yeah,
though.
and
He was
he's
like,
like, "What
"Fine,
is that?" He's like,
say
"I'll say it." And he's like, "What? What? What are you talking about?" And I was like, "Just say it. I promise it'll work." And he's like, "What are you? Earthbender Tang? Who are these people?" And I was like, "Just
Tang.
it's so dorky,
But he
just
leaned
go with
so
it."
into it.
Yeah.
He's so into it.
But Luna knew exactly. She's like, "Oh yeah, no drows. This is D&D stuff."
Stop.
Yeah, I'm gonna try her too. I don't care.
All right.
Yeah, stop telling my friends I'm an Earthbender. Yeah, that was really funny.
Yep. And then I would say also honorable mention goes to Mark and I love. So we shot, obviously, which happens a lot. You shoot things out of order. So we shot episode 7 first. And
So Mama can put Christmas decorations away.
this is true. Yes.
Specifically because of that.
Yes. But in that scene, Mark's character, who is Tim, thank you. So I learn in episode 7, we all learned that they live together and that he's moving out. So I hadn't read episode 2 yet. So in episode 7, they have this great relationship, and you feel like Tim has known Taylor and Katie like forever. And then I find out that like, oh no, they met him at the cafe, and he becomes their roommate. And so like, yeah, honorable mention is like how cool that character is, and how you can feel like someone's known someone forever, even though it's just like, no, we met him like off the street,
That was crazy.
and they just happened to click. And for me, that was really cool. That chemistry was really cool because again, I shot it out of order. So I shot 7, and in my head, I was like, oh, they must have known each other forever. No, they didn't, and that's beautiful.
I just get Tim, just in general, or Mark, MVP in so many ways. That dude was in so many episodes and would just show up on set
For
at
like
random
an
times
hour or two,
and was the most
gone.
positive, smiling, lovely
Yes.
human being
Aw,
to be around.
He's gonna
like,
give them his congeniality award.
yeah,
He
no
definitely-
matter what,
he
he was
definitely-
I was trying to
and
think
he
of one
never
for him.
complained.
That's perfect.
No,
It was crazy. He
yeah.
never complained.
He was a
so
boss.
great.
He was a goddamn boss.
Damn it, Milton.
All right. The last question would be: would you work on season 2?
Absolutely. What? Am I the only one?
I mean, I don't have a choice. You locked me in. Like I could.
That was the right answer.
There's zero chance that I could not work on it if I didn't want to. I didn't at the beginning want to do this. I told Katie it was impossible, and Katie was like, "You better fucking make it possible." And we were like, "Oh, okay." It was very scary.
Guys, I was lied to. I was told I was doing 1 episode.
This is true.
Surprise! There are 10.
Yeah, I was bamboozled and hoodwinked to do 10 episodes.
We reeled you in. We gave you a worm
Yeah.
and ended up being a steak.
Yeah, for sure. For fucking sure. No, I am definitely down for season 2. I'm excited. I'm excited for season 2.
It's God, I can't wait to go into it with we'll have such a head start, knowing what we know now.
Yeah.
And being able, like, having more preparation, more time to like build sets, more time for art, more time for development, and put all this together with a running start. It is gonna move so well.
And hopefully some funding.
Yeah, some fucking money.
And some actual pre-production meetings.
Yeah.
First of all, I tried. No one
We
was
didn't have
available.
time.
We didn't have time.
Yeah.
This wasn't even a concept. This wasn't even a sperm of a TV show.
No.
Before November.
1 episode, bro. I was signed up for 1 episode.
We came out with
But
all
I will
outlines
give
in
you this.
September.
This is also...
It was 6 months. It went from beginning to done.
I cannot stress this enough. Having the right people in the room is important because what he just said is not normal. Not having some pre-production meetings, not being able to, but I say that, and I also end it with, but we didn't necessarily need it because the team was so tight. So our communication during the filming process, was very open, very honest, and very clear. So if there were moments where you thought, oh, well, what are we doing today? There wasn't really that question. You just knew we're shooting, we're gonna get it done. This is the other thing, and that is a huge testament to the people we had, right? Our crew,
Exactly.
So yes, you definitely want pre-production meetings. You want to be able to talk things out.
I mean, and the main thing is like we had the main actresses, 2 awesome producers.
Yeah, helming a lot
who
of the
knew
process.
exactly what we were going to be doing.
Yeah. And there's a shorthand. We definitely created a shorthand on set. You and me, Zach and I, me and the actors, Zach and the actors, and I think everyone also wearing many hats just did it. So if there's moments where I was like, hey, can you move that light? It was like, yes, I got it. I can help you. Hey, can you slate this time? Which was always, this always gets me. When people enjoy slating.
It's so much fun. It's so much power.
As a job, you're like, whatever, it's a thing. But like, everyone, can I do it? Can I do it? Can
I pick what I get to say? What letter is it? Ooh,
it's
come
so
on.
great. Yeah. So yes to season 2 if they'll have me back.
Yeah.
They might not want me. They just want my equipment. They just want to use me.
You did have the best shot, Jesse.
Still shot.
Zach was like, it was a still shot.
It's great.
He didn't even touch the camera after he pressed the button. Alright, it's fine. It was beautiful.
You lit the shit out of it though. I'm telling you, props, good shot.
Yeah, no, it's great. I really look forward to I do look forward to pre-production. I look forward to developing things more. And
Yeah.
Fingers crossed that it's with Netflix.
There we go.
Yes.
Or Hulu. Or anyone.
I
Who
say
wants
that's
it?
high hopes, but
Who wants
Stop
it?
being a negative Nancy.
I'm not being negative. That's what I'm
Anyone
saying.
want it?
Like
Come
I
get
didn't
it.
think we'd even get it done. So who the fuck knows? Like
Yeah.
we'll just sell
I
to
know.
HBO. It don't matter. Like
That's true. True. That's true.
yeah,
And
it's a little crass for ABC.
plug it.
Oh yeah. So you can find me on the socials at Major Progress. The social medias.
That's the whole thing. I was like,
No, just find me
Was
on
that
like
it?
these
Yeah,
specific things.
No, all the socials, guy. Just like you know what they are. Mainly Instagram, Twitter. Don't friend me on Facebook. We ain't cool like that yet. And obviously.
if you want to find me, I am returning to my cave soon. You must find a man and ask him the riddles 3, and he might give you the key to my lair. Because I'm tired of humans. I'm done.
and poopy shit peeing
And
dogs.
poopy dogs!
And poopy pee dogs.
I'm done. I'm going back to my cave.
Where are you on the socials though? Where are
Everything is just zclap1, zklapp1.
Zclap.
And by that I mean Instagram because I don't really have much else. I rely on Katie's prowess for social media. More importantly though, this show is Becoming Famous Official.
On Instagram.
On Instagram.
you? Jesse, where can they find you? Where can they stalk you? Where can they slide into your DMs?
For you ladies out there.
Yeah, so I got my Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can find
yeah.
me.
On Tinder, I'm 6 foot.
Yeah. Let me straighten
no.
this beanie though.
Only my penis, baby.
Let me straighten my beanie.
My beanie.
So you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, maybe YouTube, at Jessito Lopez, which is JESSETOLOPEZ. I've been staring off into space and not.
We're
at the
just
camera.
gonna put it here.
Weird.
God
This
damn. Fucking hooked on phonics with that
But
tag.
yeah, so literally everything on social media is that. So yeah.
He games on Twitch too. Subscribe.
Oh yeah. I stream on Twitch.
Yeah.
That's the same exact name.
Cool. So thank you so much. This has been fantastic. We've enjoyed it. We've laughed a lot. Please watch our show. You'll like it. It's good. We worked really hard on it for you people and for us. And we'll catch you on the next one. Season 2, baby. Deuces.
Thanks.
Hello, people of YouTube. Welcome to my messy office. I'm Sean Albert, and my primary job on Becoming Famous was editing. I also did a little bit of puppy removal from shots, both visual and audio. The show was a lot of fun to work on. I know that everybody involved put in countless hours, giving it their all, and I wanted to do the same myself to make sure that we put out the best product that we possibly could. I'm very pleased with the results. I've been anxious to see how everybody enjoys the show, and the reception has been wonderful so far. Everybody involved in front of and behind the camera did an outstanding job, and the biggest challenge that I had most of the time was, oh, well, I love this performance in this take, but this take is also great. It's a blessing and a curse. There were times when I was cutting the show and I would start laughing because it was that good. I'm excited to see what's on the table for season 2. I think that it's just going to get bigger and better and crazier, and I'm excited for you all to see that as well.
Taylor's a type A Capricorn. All Auditions and drama, do they have what it takes? Pretty soon the world will know their names. Katie and Taylor are becoming famous.